Oh shit, y'all. Friends, I'm sorry I'm so late. What's going on, y'all? What's up, Wolf? Hello and welcome back. It's a new week. I got a kick out of something today up in this Facebook group, this uncensored group, which is becoming like a territory where the suspects in this sense and their family all truck around, scouting out for new people who have interest in the case so that they can get to them first in this circumstance. None of them exercise any sort of common sense. They just love to... reading the comments under some of these posts are entertaining. Especially yours, Logan. They're Logan and McKenzie. Boy, Mike DeMann has got in her head... But she's still clueless. She still feels the need to go under Mike DeMann. Somebody will share his video up there, and she has to talk all in the comments about something that really isn't even being done to her. So I don't think that she's actually listening to Mike. She doesn't want to. But if you're going to criticize the guy, criticize him on something that's, relevant in that sense. She's just avoiding him altogether and then pretending like it's a big old joke. Like the content, it's so juvenile it's funny. It's funny in that sense. You have to experience it. I'd never recommend Facebook. Please don't experience it, but maybe go up and check it out. Let me show you, for example, here. Let me switch around. Oh, shit. Actually, you know who really cracks me up is this Cali girl. They all hate Cali. They hate Cali because she's going around this particular group, asking relevant questions, posting really good content. She's exactly what you want. Okay, from a creator's perspective and beyond, she's taken a real interest in especially Mike Demand's content, but taking the situation as a whole and really asked their own questions. It's not like it's a big glaring, obvious thing to do necessarily. It depends who you listen to, and there's never a shortage of people who want to get the attention of somebody who's involved in these circumstances. And that's a curse, by the way, you McKenzie and Logan clan. Watching you have to deal with all of that and surround yourself with it is almost is part of the reason it's worth watching, because we know how guilty you are. And Logan likes to pretend that Mike's spreading that message that as though, Logan knows where Jack and Lily are in that circumstance or what happened to Jack and Lily. And it's a deceptive comment it's a deceptive question when you say this rhetorical, where's Jack and Lily? Is there a difference between where's Jack and Lily and what happened to Jack and Lily? Of course. Now, they don't think very much of statement analysis, which is really like saying they don't really think much of the English language at that. This ain't psychic readings. What it really is it's a measure of avoidance and priority, right? Because the priority would be to defend themselves and, anything that they're saying in the moment on the bottoms of all of these comments that are taking a real interest in the case based off of the facts and the lack thereof. And talking about the statements and the things that this family and those associated with them have brought to us this far. Or thus far, I guess you could even use there now, right? Now, what's going on, Explore Car? But of course, they don't at all want to participate in any of that. They want you to hear word for word what they said to the RCMP in their minds. How many more ways do you want to tell your stories in different ways from different perspectives? You guys are shitting your pants, Daniel. I don't even want to talk about the RCMP children's aid situation. I'm very open to being wrong, but I don't think I am. They'll put an extra level of privacy on this because they don't want their slips to be made public and open themselves up to litigation. That happens quite often and is typical in situations like this, whether it be DHFS or DCS or CPS, the establishment's Child Protective Services, and other federal entities or state or provincial. SR, word to the streets. Yeah, you looking to catch up on the case? There's not a whole lot to catch up on. I don't want to bore you. Don't get bored. There's always time to talk about the situation at hand. You know what's new though? What's interesting is even Mike now is entertaining one of the children possibly getting into a substance at the house, specifically specifically Jack. And he's right. We don't necessarily, taking into consideration the different things that could have happened, the kids could have died in completely different ways. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I'm open to it. I wasn't at the time, because your mind can only take in so much and consider so much, but I'm still open to those possibilities. And I know many of you keep bringing it up. And it would be, as they like to call it up in the uncensored Facebook group, common sense. That would be common sense to think that. And of course, that was taking into consideration. I'm not saying that Mike's necessarily married to these ideas. He's just bringing it up at this point, through what we're getting from the statements. And it's endless. Like, you can keep going over their statements again and again. It's not like it's different, but there's so much more that stands out to you. And that's not working in your favor, Daniel. Tammy, what's going on, girl? I don't know what you're talking about in my comment section earlier. I think your question was maybe there's a spelling error. I got part of it and then the rest of it. I think your timeline might have been off when you asked that question a little bit. But between Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then you forgot to ask your question, I think. Yeah, Lindsay. Yeah, you're saying rugs from the beginning. Well, no matter what, guys. Where's all your comments on my screen? How come I can't see your comments? Yo. What the fuck is going on here? Hold on. Switch over here, see if I can see it. Now, Julia. Oh, there you are. Oh, oh my God. Oh my God. Panicked there for a moment. Not really. Yeah, there you are. Okay, let me go back. Is there anything there? There you are. Hello. Thank God. Sometimes they glitch. There must have been a glitch in the Matrix right there. Yes, you've said rugs from the beginning, Lindsay. Lindsay Shannon. Oh, 2 first names, eh? Not sure how they play a part exactly, but my gut is saying they're involved. Well, they're definitely involved. Like the substance itself. How could it not be? How could it not be in this sense? Daniel's admitted his problem. I would have to expect, hopefully it's not so much of a problem in his life now, but he doesn't quite get that because he's going through it. Listen, you're still, even at the time, May 2nd, highly suspicious of him being, what would we call that, extremely high. Well, think about its significance in the fight at the end of the driveway as well, Lindsay. It's not really a secret. It's just a sensitivity area they don't want to talk around. It's a sensitivity area to Janie for sure. Think about how Janie spoke about that at the end of the driveway. They tell you, or she'll say in her statement, she wants so badly not to know anything about it, so therefore she doesn't, she's not giving you any key details. And then in the next sentence, she gives you the details. It's a bit confusing in the beginning. That's the only thing you have to get used to. Oh, yeah, Lindsay? I thought you were working for the CIA, girl. No, I was late. I had to have a nap. I laid down with my daughter. It's back to school, so we were out and about today. I was. So we had a nap this afternoon, and I slept in just a little bit so I could stay up a little bit later and do this. Hopefully markets pump a little bit this week. The rate cuts coming in, guys and gals. Well, we might drop too. We might stall it another month. I thought someone would have broke by now. Crime scene. Well, really? Who's asking anymore? Crime science. In my mind, in a perfect world, they never should have been anywhere in the first place. Maybe, and that's what Mike was talking about earlier about the hours between 12 and 5. This car that was heard coming and going, that's 5-speed. This this witness statement, a neighbor's statement. Maybe he was disposing of some of the equipment and all the paraphernalia and all of the ingredients around the house, so when the cops came with their body cams, they wouldn't be recording anything. And then come back on them later, right? Not to mention put two and two together in the moment. And it was part of their little plan because they're having a nice little family reunion the next morning. They're calling everybody in that they knew for whatever reason just to avoid them the rest of the day. So that they all were eyewitness to them pretending to search for them down by the pipeline. Jack and Lily, I mean. Search for Jack and Lily. In my opinion, here at this moment. Allison Lamba, there was a recent case where a child OD'd simply due to the home being coated with meth residue and smoking and cooking inside. 100. Oh, for sure. That's actually, sadly, really common. It's so common that you hear about it all the time. And I'm not trying to laugh at the scenario, but the tests are so sensitive. They can detect because your skin's, your body's, I guess it'd be your body's largest organ. I hope I'm right on that one. I think it's probably your largest organ, but the skin is an organ as well, and it absorbs. So, I mean, just it being around in the residue, and especially when the parents are high, and it's not like they're keeping an ideal lab environment by any means. Oh, shit. I was up there in this group, and there's this honey defending how nasty that trailer and RV are. Yeah, I said that at the very beginning too, but I was trying to be nice. Yeah, the place is a dive, especially when you know they're lying to you, right? And especially after I heard Uncle Wade there, we'll call him. High five, Wade. Oh, you're going to have to stand in line for that one, Mr. Hemi. You're making PictouCounty official math tester t-shirts? Oh, I thought you were going for the position. Listen, it's a problem in a lot of places, not just there. But it's prevalent in this case. See, here's a situation where you can't have anybody saying there's no sense to go overboard in this circumstance because one, he's already admitted his problem. It would be cool if the guy was being trolled online or something like that, but this is much different of a situation. So yeah, it was a factor, unfortunately, in the kids' lives, and it certainly didn't make Daniel any better of a father or a keen of a parent in that sense because it's a dissociative. All right. I would like to know why Janie's ex has a much nicer home on the same property. What are you talking about, Explore Car? Oh, you can bet your bottom dollar that Janie's living in the trailer right as we speak. This is September 15th, 2025, of course. You got me thinking, though. What are you talking about exactly, Explore Car? You like to know why Janie's ex. Who's Janie's ex? Are you talking Earl? He's got two. Yeah, they say he built that. I'd be pissed off at. Why'd you put that fucking picture in the newspaper? That's what he should be swinging at the fences over. I appreciate you, Quillfish. Good to see you. He should be pissed off at that. We got that nasty rundown trailer, too. They have an affinity for these, it seems. I'm just trying to remember those pictures that were in the National Post. Which in all this was a half-assed good article. Which good in this circumstance means representing the reality at that moment in time. And Janie, if that's your RV or ATV, sweetheart, why isn't your ATV on your own property, especially over the past 5 years, which was what you were trying to say through some of these messages? Makes no sense. Nothing of what you say makes any sense, Janie. But you have to take most of it with a grain of salt. You have to take it, though, because she's the alibi. She's not a very good one. She's screwed up. What are you saying, Lindsay? Your 5-speed car theory is it came to bring full jerry cans and take Daniel to the ATV. Came back to, that's one. What? How many is that, jerry cans? So it's 1, the arrival. 2, to go over to Earl's to get the ATV. 3, come back to meet Daniel with the ATV, get rugs, paraphernalia, took that to a safe house. That's a 4th trip. 5 trip, come back. Yeah, you're definitely onto something. Like that would. That's a good place to start for sure. There's no reason at this point in time not to think that drugs weren't involved. Ghetto Panda word. Do you think Daniel got skidded over to the RV so the chickens, dog, and Janie could move into the trailer? You know what's funny too, Panda? Is how Daniel uses the term rustling when he talks about Jack being in the kitchen and he was awake and listening to him rustle. Well, there goes your in and out of sleep kind of narrative. It's an adaptation. Hello, Brenda. It's an inconsistency, for sure. Oh, there's always an excuse, always a reason, isn't there? At any one time. It's pretty sad to watch and participate going through it. Last car trip, came back to grab evidence, says Lindsay. To dispose of from Malaya, you're saying? Separate trips for plausible denial on 2 separate crimes. Two separate crimes. What do you mean, Lindsay, by 2 separate? What do you mean 2 separate crimes in that sense? There's times 2 because there's 2 kids. What are you alluding to? Like all of the drug stuff? They would associate the one with the other. Yeah, there's a real need to get rid of it. And there's no reason why any of us have to not believe Wade. Wade, Malaya's uncle, has been going through it. That's the primary reason they dislike Daniel. And if he's got people that he sells his meth to, that would probably be the individuals that he would call for help in that, under those circumstances. Hey, Jenner. You see that all right? Yeah, man. I got a crack out of this. This Cali Gibson's her name. She's the one who does a good, fantastic job and goes up and posts this stuff. And it's funny. It makes the titles and the front of it really stand out. I mean, granted, if you're not used to having people make content, especially shit talking you, it's bizarre. You get used to it. But of course, Logan's situation is completely different. Logan's got all the reason in the world to get involved and do these little favors for her tweaker cousin, her tweaker, her family in that sense. She's doing a solid for her family, which she prioritizes. And it's not actually protecting her family. It's the making it look like she is. She's pretentious. And she's not very bright. She's so self-absorbed. She does, Mike's right, she does have a front. She's got an alter ego that she hides behind. And it's not just the Lily Jack account up there. She's got other sock accounts too. Oh, I see what you're saying. So, we have been told, Janie is the property owner, but Earl has a much nicer home on that property. Well, yeah. Well, she probably heard this before, but it came from a family member. We'll call it a little birdie. A little birdie told us. And that little birdie actually lives out west, come to think of it. And that's verified, actually. And this is not just bullshit. They haven't been mentioned because they don't want to be mentioned. There's a certain person that showed me that would know. That Janie and Earl broke up like when Daniel was just a little boy because she was a hoe. She was a hoe and she was banging some contractor that was working on her house one day, a lonely housewife type thing. And she put out for the old man. Oh. She was hoeing it up and Earl fucking lost it and kicked her out, but didn't kick her out that much. Just the other end of the property in a trailer. I read that excuse too up there in this. Well, if Janie, these people, if you can't hear the hate and the crap that comes from Janie, there's something wrong with you. But still, there's people up there who are commenting, trying to get into confrontations in the comments section under these posts about if Janie was so evil, then if she was so evil, why would she allow Daniel to even move in there in the first place? Who the fuck knows? What does one thing have to do with the other? This is the type of thinking you really get dumbed down and exhausted mentally with the toxicity, especially in these Facebook groups. It's fun to go up and do what Cali Gibson's doing. But you see what's happening up there in this group is it's a battle for a certain element of the mind in there to satisfy Daniel. Oh, they look over everything and they have to comment on everything. This isn't helping, and they direct. They affirm or confirm or become offended. They're yelling at Cali Gibson up in this place. Stop making this all about drama. This is the exact opposite of drama, you stupid ass, Daniel. Statement analysis. It's not a psychic reading, bro. These people are outraged because it asks them questions that they're sensitive about. It's blatantly obvious. It's about as obvious as the level of avoidance going on in almost everything that they say. The good news with all of this is you don't have to be too confused where the guilty parties are. Not at all. And the people who don't want to see it, fuck them. That's not our problem. You see, the whole point of them being up there is to get behind certain propaganda in that regards. I did get a kick out of Janie saying that she doesn't like Sonny or Dolly anymore. And that was way back 2 months ago, though. That was months ago she said that. She probably has a lot of hate in her heart. Listen, Janie, you pretty much say everything and anything that you can. Every possibility you like to cover and talk about. It can't be every possibility. Yeah, so Explore Car. Thanks for bringing that up. That way I could tell you how hoish Janie was back in the day. She's nasty. Swinging her hiney all over the place. She's a hussy. She's a 2-bit Nova Scotia hussy. See, Anne Warren, she probably lived there with Earl. If he built it 40 years ago, absolutely. Family home, so you know they know those woods and trails. Well, absolutely. Not to mention everybody's name around there, Anne Warren. There's everybody right around the property in Lansdowne Station. You can see McKenzie. You can see Geddes. It starts to become clear over the little web that they have out here just how intertwined and related they are. And they all have friends. So they all have friends that they're actively bullshitting in real time as well. I wonder what their private lives are really like. If you know, contact me at step-by-step-exploring-videos@gmail.com. You can find my email address on the About section on my YouTube page, excuse me. Apparently a few brothers of Janie's live around there too. That's right, Cooper. Yeah. What's his name? Listen, actually, take a look at this. This is another little thing that a really cool creator in the background sent me. I was pondering over it today. I didn't message back, but I'm very suspicious of it. And it has to do with Kent. Good old Kent. So, in my mind, here's the key connection to all of it. Now, who knows what the exact intricacies are, but there's definitely a relation in Kent's family to Janie McKenzie. I got that through right here. This Reginald Wendell Reg Corbett's obituary. I wouldn't share his autopsy. Why did I have that word on my mind? Excuse me. Christian, you're asking. Oh, hold on. I'll get to your comment in just a second before I get sidetracked. Let me show you. Harvey McKenzie and Heidi Corbett. Come on down. You're the next contestants on The Price is Right, baby. Yes, Bob. Right there. So, thank you very much for pointing that out. That took me forever to find this morning. You know how you're zooming through things that you don't necessarily want to read? I'm like, I couldn't see it. Like, I read through this thing 3 times without seeing that right in the second line. And then I'm like, you know what? I need to slow down and actually read every word next time. I knew what I did wrong, though. I even sent a message back saying, I don't fucking see it. It's because I didn't slow down and read it. I was zooming over it without reading it, thinking that's going to be, stupid ass. Anyway, I caught myself. So this is Reginald Wendell Reg Corbett. And that has to do with Corbett's Garage Rebuild GoFundMe. I'm not sure who anybody is in that circumstance, but the point to all of it is this little fruitcake Kent and his want and his real motivation to be here is to push these links on you with these particular stories. Kent is most likely related to Janie and the McKenzies in that sense. Through family, through marriage in that sense, right? Otherwise, in the know. And that's the talk in the background. I'm not sure how far people have looked past that yet, but I thought I'd put it out there and see what comes in. You guys see the link. In a circumstance like this, Heidi Corbett, Harvey McKenzie, out of Lansdowne. Kent, you have no idea. You don't know Janie at all, do you, honey? Oh, I love you too, BC Proud. You rock AB as always. You're always worthwhile watching, listening to, and trustworthy. Yeah, so far. Thank you very much, BC Proud. Market's dipping a little bit. I'll put that $5 on a 5X long for us. So I thought I'd put it out there and test the waters. I'm not up here accusing Kent to be this, that, and the other. You know, I've never put myself in that circumstance. I'm just telling you where's a connection, and it stood out to me, no doubt. And it's worth further looking into. Christ, I wouldn't even hold it against Kent. At least now we know. But the problem is with it, Kent, is that there's a big problem with you and the way that you go about spreading misinformation about this case, always focused on keeping the eyes off of Daniel. And you've got all the time in the world. There's all other issues. Tammy, are you coming in here spreading lies? Tammy de Vaux. Oh, bonjour. Didn't Derwood date Logan's mom? I don't know. And Derwood is related to Malaya's side? So he says. I don't believe a fucking word that Derwood or Darren Getty has to say. He's a bullshitter. You can tell. Who knows what he goes around and introduces himself as like some bizarre cross-reference distant relative, which, by the way, you never do. You really just tell him the connection. Hey, his uncle is we have the same uncles in a certain way or something like that. But he introduces it as though it's actually a thing. Like fifth removed cousin from Malaya's grandmother. Some bizarre fucking thing, right? Get out of here, douchebag. Adam and Eve, baby. Let's see. He's a nose digger. Who are you talking about? Didn't he print out flyers, Celia? Well, that's what everybody does to make it look like they're actually doing something. Didn't he print flyers? You talking about Kent or Derwood? Maybe he did. Big fucking deal, though. Printing flyers, suspects and their cohorts print flyers all the time. It's a great way to make it look like you're doing something without actually doing something. Or doing anything, excuse me. It's just for the photo op. Is that Ron? Miss K says, I know she has a brother Ron because he called. Actually, no, it's not Ron. It's an... oh, okay, maybe it is Ron. Ron is Logan's dad, isn't it? Yeah, they always go to town supposedly on Fridays, so it's a thing. Except that particular day, because Janie was up late the night before getting ready for that pool for the kids. Raking that driveway, baby. Ken said last night on Mike's live stream that he knew none of them, nor was he related. Yeah, I saw that actually, Tammy. Who knows? It's relatives everywhere here. Oh, I'm not sure I believe Kent. But if that's what he said, that's cool. Yeah, I noticed he was in chat last night. I didn't get much of it. But it's a good possibility he doesn't know them, right? Because think about all the people that you don't know. Even the people that you do know, you don't really actually know. You know of them. You don't know them well in that sense. They're not close, perhaps. But I would find that really hard to believe. I'd find that hard to believe, especially when there's 2 children missing in this circumstance, because Kent might not even recognize the connection. He seems fairly naive and gullible in that sense. So it'd be an easy part to fool on him, perhaps, if he's genuine in his intent. Hey, BBB. You don't agree with using missing kids to promote your own fundraiser? Who does that, BBB? Yeah, that's not cool. Not cool at all. Unless it happens to come up. Unless it's important. He told me he didn't know Janie, he said, Lindsay. I don't know Janie. Who was asking if he knew Janie? Nobody's asking if he knew Janie. We didn't ask him anything yet. I think the whole country is related by marriage. I cannot defend Kent right now. He's too close to Derwood and needs to stay off the tube, in my opinion. Right on, Lindsay, I know. Oh, it's noted. At least he's denying knowing Janie directly. We don't fucking believe him. Doesn't really matter. Darren dated Logan's grandmother, apparently. Derwood can't be trusted in any of this. Old Derwood. They're him and Janie, when you listen to them talk about one another, I was over on Adventures Underwater UK, they constantly reference all of this information that they have that they're not going to share in a circumstance like this. You know, putting it in a way that makes it look like they're withholding evidence in this circumstance, and absolutely they are. I've got no doubt about it. I'm more sure of it now than I was back then. Back then, it's like, oh, fuck, I gotta get there first. Like, what do you mean? You gotta find it. Oh, believe me. Janie would say, believe me. I heard that Derwood and Darren was dating Logan's mom, too, very early in the case. This girl says. This Derwood's a real suave brother. Maybe he's hung like a horse, making his way around. I think Kent's uncle is his father. Yeah. Oh, duh, fuck. You're probably not even kidding and you're cracking me up. That'd be the best. Oh, don't even tell me you're not even kidding with that one, Brian Sutherland. Ah, shit. So anyway, that was just a connection. And it comes back to this Heidi Corbett. So this is the sister-in-law. This is allegedly the sister-in-law, or the suspected sister-in-law to Janie. Is that correct? I wonder. Sister-in-law to this? So who's Heidi Corbett? I wonder, is she related to Kent? I don't know. Blues Clues, let's see. You've been thinking a new theory that Janie and her brother unalived the kids as Janie was fed up. I pray I'm wrong, but who knows? Just my opinion, no facts to back it up. What makes you say that, BBB? Like, what are the things that they've said that lead you to believe this? You can see the ending, I get it, but was there anything in specific that brought you, or anything that sticks out to you that you can remember that? Let me know in the chat. My last name is pronounced Dax and Volks, like a Volkswagen. Oh, hello, Tammy Dax Volks. Oh, hello, ha 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 ha. It is I, Bartholomew Moriendo III. Let me see. My last name is pronounced Dax and Volks, like Volkswagen. That's so sexy, Tammy. At least the way I imagined I said it in my mind. Cali G, there she is. Good to see you, darling. Derwood may have couch surfed with Janie. Oh, they fucking were banging for sure. Could you imagine? He's banging for his rent. Cali G is in my chat. Cali G is in my chat telling us that Derwood may have couch surfed with Janie. That's so nasty. In the RV? In that RV? That's so much worse than like Cousin Eddie's RV from like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Darren, get over there and cover that goddamn RV up with some dirt. Make it an earth house. That way it doesn't look so horrid. Could you imagine that little RV surrounded in earth with a wood stove in it? Do you imagine you burn like a little hardwood branch and you're good for like days? Oh my God. The Bat Cave. We'll turn her into a cave. But it's okay. She's renovated. Listen to the level of bullshit that Janie comes to us with. Listen, honey. Ain't nobody been renovating that RV. And you know what? It's okay. Ain't nobody hating on you because you live in a shit broken down RV. What could that possibly have anything to do with the situation? The fact that you admitted to having to want to move out there in the first place to escape the loudness and the hustle and bustle of the trailer. All of these things that you brought up, Janie, are okay otherwise to talk about. Because humans are like that in a situation, but when you bring it up, you need to have it mean something other than it really means. That's a sensitivity area for her. Because it would have to then bring you into the conversation about why they didn't get together in the first place. Or, I mean, why they didn't get along in the first place. Malaya and Janie. Oh, in the same trailer, in the same house, living? How the fuck? Who would you... It'd be very difficult to get along with anybody in that circumstance. Especially when it's your own trailer. So she had to bring in that RV, this broken down RV, and now she's renovated this thing. I don't even want to see it. What the fuck are you talking about? You renovated... You just went to the dump and you pulled this thing out of the dump. And you got rid of the nasty foam, inserts. You had to get rid of it because everything has its day, right? Like even furniture. Think about your cupboards when they go sometimes. Or you get some wear and tear on parts of the floor. They don't last forever. So it's really easy at that circumstance to renovate and pull the shit out. And just start living on 2x4 plywood and some planks. Cooper, what are you throwing up in your mouth a little bit? Because Derwood is sleeping on the couch? Everybody needs love, right? Everybody needs love. I need you to do me a solid. There's a real romance going on here. And Janie, I don't know. She talks about Darren, now that I think back of it, she really speaks like Darren as though he is a lover in that sense. You can really pick it out. She does reference him. Good to see you, Mike DeMann. She doesn't need a carpet with all the dog hair. Good one. That's a funny one. Oh, shit. Okay, Brian, it would be hot in that place. Oh, shit. The fucking poor dog. You get a little HVAC unit in there. Like, it's kind of a cool idea. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I shouldn't hate on Janie too hard for it. It's a cool idea in that circumstance, but it's spooky in this one. She doesn't want to talk about really the reason why Janie moved into the RV in the first place. She addressed it already. And she showed us a sensitivity, I'm trying to remember, when she usually deflects and skips into something else. She's avoiding talking about it. Her way of avoiding would be to say how, old Daniel is in that moment and how well, he's a big boy now. He can work out his own problems. Kind of as though that they've been there before. But imagine, Janie, you think Janie can handle that? Come on. Janie, having those kids and Daniel move this stranger, this new hussy into his house is going to be an issue no matter what, especially with a high-strung person like Janie. And that's where I feel it probably began. The kids in Malaya have probably never had a fair chance to begin with because they came there as an addict, and Daniel knows that. Or we'll say she had her issues. She'll have her issues her addiction issues. So probably got off to a really bad start between the two. But the fact that Janie goes the extra mile to make it look like she is just so oblivious to any of the reason why they wouldn't have gotten along in the first place. You don't really have to ask, do you? When there's that much hustle and bustle, if you've been in a household like that, there's no getting around the noise, nor should there be. You know, a home with lots of kids should be loud and happy and laughing, and people should be loud and not afraid to be around one another. Well, good luck with Janie there. If for crying out loud, it's only like a 3-bedroom trailer. It's no double wide, not even coming down on the trailer. But it's not that big for all of them, especially for a person like how Janie comes across. Talking about being there 26 years. 26 years ago is when you fucked the contractor and Earl kicked you out there, honey baby. What do you have to say about that? And hey, Cali, feel free to post a question in this uncensored group. Oh, yeah. So, I don't know how much I'm going to take. Let me read this statement to you. This is about Mike Demands. So, Cali posts, Mike Demand, Kent entered the chat. Oh, very, very good. What does Logan McKenzie actually know? So, this Charmaine Smith responds, and I can only do so many of these because they're frustrating after a while. I've lived in PictouCounty my whole life. Whoops, where'd you go? I've lived in PictouCounty my whole life and have never heard of the Pipeline Boys. Like, are you fucking for real? Well, these sort of comments are just telling in that sense. One, you didn't listen. Mike uses the term the Pipeline Boys as it's a nickname, right? I'm just showing you an example. It's just a nickname. He calls them over on his channel the Pipeline Boys to call them all to refer to them when trying to make a point, and it's something new. And this person from PictouCounty, the only time that you're bragging about being a PictouCounty as though that's some sort of measure about how much more you know about this situation. I've never heard of I've never heard of the Pipeline Boys. Well, why would you? Why would you? So, hold on here. I swear the internet is a dogged sewage drain of misinformation and complete ignorance. The rumors and speculation surrounding the disappearance of 2 precious kids has become worse than flat earth believers. It's little wonder there's people on here that think the National Enquirer has merit. Well, isn't she giving so much credibility to mainstream publications? You would have thought that you would see the hilarity of the National Enquirer and the point of it in the first place, and it has a lot more to do with the freedom of speech and information. That's what makes misinformation such a valuable thing, because when people can't determine what the truth is out there, that's the whole point. Okay, there, honey baby from PictouCounty, but you probably already knew all that. Fucking frustrating. So let's see here. Holy shit, Cali Gibson responds to that. Charmaine Smith, nice attempt at doing damage control for Daniel and family. That is exactly what you're attempting to do, so you must be a friend or relative. We see you. We get you. Nice try, but no cigar. Oh, that deserves a thumbs up. A like. Can I give it a better like? Can I like it in any better way? Oh, what should I put there? Fuck, that was fire. That was fire, Cali. Oh, maybe I won't say anything. I'm like, Charmaine Smith, the Pipeline Boys are Mike's nickname for them. Why would you have heard of them anyway? Yeah, you see what I mean? The subtle effort and the effort. Hold on, get out of there, please. Not right now. Give me 1 second. I got to attend to something. Oh yeah. No worries. I had to grab some food of all things. I was listening today about somebody talk about how Daniel would mention how they allowed, now listen to this, how they allowed the kids to stash food, especially when they went to bed, so that they wouldn't be hungry during the night in that sense. Well, geez, what if all our moms did that? What in the hell is this guy even talking about? No way, one, do I believe that. Malaya's friend was it Haley that was mentioning that there's never food in the house to begin with. That was a real issue. Listen, you might be lucky to get a snack. You eat what's for dinner. That should be plenty. That would be the extreme. That's how I was raised, unfortunately. But really not. We all snuck snacks. But when a 4 and a 6-year-old are stashing food away and you're acknowledging as it being something that you allowed, especially at night, and that's your reason for it, you're telling everybody just how clueless of a parent you really are. How much of an idiot you are, especially when it comes to raising and rearing kids, and how important a schedule is, especially to the human body, our physiology, how we digest and maintain good, gut health in that sense. You could use many terms there. But what do we know about the substances that he loved to use? The first thing that it does is suppresses your appetite. So the last thing on your mind at any one time, one is food. The next, and just as high up there, is time. Time in eating go out the window and don't even exist to people who are addicted to these very, very dangerous synthetic substances. Which is good if you're on sentry duty during a war. Or trying to blitzkrieg yourself across, the Western Front in Europe. But when you're trying to raise kids, it's a completely different thing. All of a sudden, you really don't see the reason to feeding them at set times. It just makes no sense. We're a little too open for that, and you actually really start convincing yourself that might be a thing. The next thing you know, your kids are always wandering around hungry. They're always hungry. And people who know children recognize what hungry children, unfortunately, look like and how they, in turn, behave. Unless you're my daughter, which you're always hungry all the time, aren't you? You got no problem eating. She goes the other way. Usually, you've got to regulate because kids get addicted to food and sugar and pop and things like that. And when you can't actually talk it through with the children, other measures have to be implemented. And that's where another set of questions really apply in this circumstance. Word to the streets, Cali G. Good to see you, sweet tea. Tammy Delvaux. Oh, it's just me, Tammy Delvaux. It's a pretty cool name, actually. I see it was Mike's chat, then Kent was called out. Who brought all of this to the surface? Thanks. Tammy Delvaux, where are you? What did she say? Haley is her half-sister. I think Cheryl is her friend. Haley's her half-sister. What, you mean Malaya? One of them said to Malaya, leave here. You won't have to worry about food. Oh, fuck, that would... You probably go homeless and have more chances to get a meal than around that house. Well, that's usually M&D got vapes, poutine, and Starbucks. With 3 kids in the family, you think that a grocery store would have been way better. You could even probably talk and allow the odd Starbucks, but it's not like you guys have jobs. Well, Malaya should. She's made to be stayed there looking after Meadow. She's only at 15 months at that time. And by the way, she is still in provincial care. A ward of the Crown. They said the kids would go with anyone who offered food or water to Ghetto Panda. Earlier on, what is that? That tells us a few things, especially looking back. They're really trying to imply without directly saying, without, linguistically committing to any particular theory or not, or even idea of what just happened to Jack and Lily. They want to make it look without looking too much in a certain way. They're ad-libbing, okay? They're deceiving you in real time. They're hiding the truth. We don't know what that truth is 100%, but when your kids are missing, we're pretty sure that we can presume that you're hiding guilty knowledge. And they are. What a thing to say. What a thing to say about your kids. Oh, they would go with anybody who offered food or water. Funny things that you say when you're desperate. Anything to put blame back on them and make it look like it could either be a stranger abduction, that which would be very easy to rule out. You see Daniel going around the odd time saying that, oh, he now, and he likes to refer to they and it as though there's one real belief back as to what the investigators actually think. Avoidance. You can damn well say avoidance on most things in this case and be accurate. It's that thick. This is rich with deception. And you'd almost think that it was all everything. The whole conversation was just about their bullshit story and how unrealistic it really is. That's without actually getting in. Think of how effective it is, because it's taken up such a huge percentage of the pie as to the overall case of what our minds should be occupied with in the missing children with Jackie and Lily. Yeah, you're saying that, Lori Green? They're all singing from the same sheet? Where did I see that? I just refreshed. I'm way behind in chat. You gotta be cool for a second. I'm catching up. Many great chats. And thanks, Mike Demand, for being in my chat tonight. It's such an honor to have a wise man in my chat. I learn a lot from Mike's channel. It's like being in a math class of sorts, only for... It's like a logic class in that sense. But ever since I got onto using his adaptation of Plaids, I'm a big fan. Then they couldn't remember, Daphne, if they got the kids food in that morning. WTF. Yeah. The things that they conveniently selectively choose not to remember is evident in those documents, early documents that were released. You can see that a mile away, to the point where you can't ignore it. It's impossible to ignore. Like, who the fuck? So much avoidance in these statements. It means no need to look at us. Look at anyone. Yeah, anyone except us. Yeah, you're right. Cheryl C., there would be food banks in churches that give out food. No, the point is, Cheryl C., is when you're addicted. So when you're addicted, it's the last thing on your mind. You then go for the convenient, and you know, the society in which we live really feeds off of that to a degree, because of the level of junk or shit food that is out there on the market. And what they've done to us is, at one time it used to be cheap. Like, fast food used to be cheap, right? It used to be an alternative. You used to go to an actual restaurant to get real food. And now you go and look at the menus, and this shit food is so fucking expensive, ridiculous. It's so nuts. Even a daily breakfast on your commute every week is a significant amount of money in that sense. You should be putting it in crypto, higher risk assets. There would be food banks in churches, you're right. There would, if they actually needed it. But they're not looking after... It's not on their mind, Cheryl. I mean, it's obvious. Like, they're going to have to eat sometime and look after them, but only because of the kids. Christian, no breakfast, no supper the night before, no PJs or bath time. So there's another thing. Just hold on. There's another thing that might have actually been a contributing factor that I got thinking about it today in Mike's chat. So there's going to be people out there listening who are familiar with the shake and bake method of making a particular substance we're going to call mathematics for the sake of the algorithm. And in the process of making this shake and bake, there's when you're trying to get the pseudoephedrine chemically out of... Okay, out of there, please. Heaven's sakes, I'm getting raided. When you're in the process of trying to remember my terms, my chemical process terms, essentially cleaning the kerosene that holds the pseudoephedrine, but you still have to create a chemical reaction, and that comes from making a concoction, okay, a very highly toxic concoction, which are the last stages and the highly necessary part of the process, that you can take a piece of aluminum and you put it in, like, depending on your size, a container filled with, what sort of, is it muriatic acid? I can't remember. You can probably do a search and find what type of acid you would put the aluminum into to create the chemical reaction that you need to then incorporate into the wash, which is the kerosene or accelerant or the fluid that's holding the pseudoephedrine. And by simply incorporating that process, you can watch the ephedrine turn into, it makes it look like it's snowing in a way. You can see it. It's working. There's a highly visual part to the process. My point to telling you this, my point to bringing it up, is if you're in an enclosed space, okay, and the gas that gives off, and it's a gas, and it's powerful. It could fucking kill 2 kids, no problem, really quickly, like quicker than you could otherwise suffocate. But it would burn you so, it would burn their lungs. It would be such a painful way to go in that sense, but you would be guaranteed to be dead. Okay, so what hold on, where's Grok here? I'm just going back in my memory, but that process in the step is probably the most dangerous step in the process to making shake and bake. Even if you're using something as small as like, say a 1 liter soda stream bottle or any sort of bottle that you're cooking it in, this is another step. So after everything's all said and done, you literally pour a little bit of, I gotta find what kind of acid it is. I'm pretty sure it's muriatic acid. It's muriatic acid, and you just put a wrapped up ball of tinfoil or some sort of aluminum. You need the chemical reaction that comes from the muriatic acid and the aluminum, and it gives off a highly corrosive, dangerous gas. And you need to you only need just a little bit of it, right? You don't need a whole lot of it. It's just you need to produce it through that process, and then incorporate it into the wash that you've thus prepared up to that point. And you can even reference it. You can see people talk about it all over YouTube as well, like that crazy biker who used to pump out like $40 million worth of mathematics in 50-gallon drums. When he would sit there and he would drink his aluminum beer cans, and when he was done, he would throw that aluminum. He was doing it in a different way, but it's the same reason that you include that aluminum is to create a certain reaction, chemical reaction that's essential to the process. He would drink his Budweiser beer with 2 strippers. You hear him? That toothless guy, he's a famous cook in that sense. Anyway, that's a definite possibility. A 4-year-old child's lungs aren't very big. I gotta look into that a little bit more, but that's where my mind was when I was in Mike's chat. Let me get back to talking to you for a moment. Let me catch up. I'm missing all sorts of important statements. I'm sorry. Most people in that area are related, even if distantly, so I wouldn't be surprised, Mama Angie. Did I go back too far? Good to see you. So I gotta look more into it. Mixing aluminum with muriatic acid, hydrochloric acid, HCl, produces hydrogen gas. This reaction occurs because aluminum is reactive metal that displaces hydrogen from the acid, forming an aluminum chloride. Aluminum chloride. The chloride part. The chloride part is what's dangerous. Well, I'm not a chemist. I shouldn't be saying anything. And releasing hydrogen gas. This chemical equation is the following. Caution, this reaction is exothermic, releases heat, and can be vigorous, producing flammable hydrogen gas, which poses a risk of explosion if ignited. Perform this only in a well-ventilated area or under controlled. No problem. We'll do that. There's another reaction that I'm referring to that isn't exactly this, so I got to sharpen my memory up. We'll talk about that again tomorrow. Can't remember off the top of my head. Oh, Roxanne, you're in the right way. You can kiss Mike's butt in my chat any day. You've learned so much from Mike DeMann. His info is so accurate. I look forward to his lives. I do too. I like them. I like it, especially in situations such as this. It's grounding. Amethyst Girl on the Facebook chat page on July 14th, when Janie was talking using voice messages, they joked about taking the four-wheeler to the RCMP to get smokes back, and Janie talked about strapping one of group. Talked about strapping one of group. What does that mean? Is there a typo, Amethyst Girl? What do you mean strapping? What do you mean? They should have stayed offline, Layla says. People give them a platform to talk. Oh, they've got their own little group up there. They're battling for your minds up there, keeping an eye on all of your conversations about them. But they don't care about what you guys think, do they? They don't care about what you guys think about us and our story. Wrong. You can't have it both ways in that sense. You had no idea William Shatner till the other day? Oh, you had no idea about William Shatner, Cooper, till the other day? About what? Did you hear is that 911 call, the William Shatner 911 call? Is that what you're saying? I just heard that the other day too, for some reason. It popped up and it got me. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that happened. But I didn't finish it, so don't ruin it for me. Don't ruin it. Oh, you can ruin it. It's not like you're hiding anything. Lily Segan, so did many other people, and they got booted for questioning Kent's motives, Explore Carsey. Lily Segan. I missed all of that because I just didn't watch them. I was turned off. I was put off anyway. So I trust what you guys have to say, your observations. Now it makes more sense. But it's not necessarily anything but somebody wanting to be overprotective of their chat and create, a certain environment in that sense. And that's got to be tough when you've got those people coming up there all the time. Like, it's going to be tough. Yeah, you're talking about that too. You're talking about Jack accidentally absorbing some substances through the skin. It's a strong, that's the risk factor in this house. Like, what do you think we're talking about when we talk about risk factors, right? For children in these environments. That's common sense, Daniel, okay? You know, what common sense really is everything that Daniel and his crew up there in that Facebook Uncensored group talk around. You talk around the common sense questions and try to make people make sense of the things that really don't make sense. That's what they spend most of their time engaged in, which doesn't rhyme with anybody who's innocent in a circumstance like this. And then Lily started screaming. That's was brought up in Mike's. No, it's always changing. It's a possibility. It's a strong possibility. But still, there's a lot of... I'm not even talking that down, by the way. But there's a lot more of the decision-making that I'm curious about between what happened with one and then what turned around and happened with the other. One could be criminal neglect, and the other could be first-degree murder in that sense, like capital murder. If they died in two different ways, you would have to think it was because of a certain way. But we don't have all of that information. This is what's so important for Daniel to keep quiet, of course. You don't want to have a conversation with a person when he wants and knows so much more information than you do about that circumstance. That's not a situation you ever see in an interview room with a detective. No, you have the interview when you know more than he thinks that you think he knows. Especially when you've caught them in lies and deception. You don't, as a detective, then go and pull up the main suspect and start asking him more questions in a certain way. You have to have either a repertoire going with him, which he probably does. I liked the idea, not that I necessarily am married or believe it, but somebody brought it up that maybe it wasn't an agreed upon situation calling in the RCMP, and Malaya just went ahead and called them because that was really out of instinct. And there's a lot more, it popped into my head that could be a strong possibility and tied into, an exit strategy for her in the moment. Like she had a coming to reality scenario, because no matter what, I can't even imagine, not saying it's impossible or it doesn't happen in this circumstance, that you just went through what you went through, whether one was intentional and one wasn't, or both deaths were intentional, and you saw the level of behavior by everybody else in your environment who was treating you like absolute shit. You wouldn't have an exit strategy in the back of your mind at any one time developing. I don't expect her to be thinking rationally necessarily in these circumstances, because I suspect that she was addicted to what Daniel had her hooked on. But at this point in time, from Malaya's standpoint, it's probably a multi-front battle. She was being coerced into representing things a certain way because she's presumed to be falling in line. In fact, Janie indicates all of that. She's telling you the reasons directly, and she speaks to it, why Malaya isn't talking. And it can be interpreted as a veiled threat. It really can, and that's not the first one from Janie. It's funny how she can't wait to talk directly about that type of thing in this sense. Jack was a curious boy. That's what she likes to say. Yeah, I was noticing that, Tammy. Mike stopping for a bit so he could get Kent's. Kent was in there making his rounds. If Kent comes in here, you can just straight up block him. I'm not like that. The kids found that pop bottle hot, or thought it was pop, chugged it. Oh, ghetto panda. So in my mind, it's difficult to sit up here and start talking about all the morbid ways that they could have possibly come to their demise. But it could come by a number of ways. Absorption, ingestion, I don't know how pop bottle came into it. What do you mean? The kids wouldn't be mistakenly picking up all of the chemicals in a pop bottle and ingesting or drinking them. No, that wouldn't be in the cards. It's not really in my mind necessarily. That's not the way to look at it. That's like a toxic waste dump of chemicals that you need to dispose of. And it wouldn't be mistaken for like Mountain Dew. It's pretty putrid. Very powerful, because there's a very powerful ammonia scent that immediately starts, to the point where the ammonia can actually kill you too, even being exposed to it, but it probably wouldn't be that high of levels. So after the process, one of the processes, there's a waste product left in the bottom of the bottles. And that, without the kerosene and the reaction, under pressure and heat and everything, and a little bit of lithium in that, with all of your ephedrine pills, that's the stuff that you got to get out and then filter through. And then you go through and wash that initial liquid. I'm just trying to remember the process. It's so silly. So silly. Yeah, it would have been very like, there's a lot of ammonia. It's not like he's doing it around a hood in that sense. Well, it would have been absolutely deadly to them if it was laced with fentanyl, Cali. But so what you're implying by saying that is thinking that Daniel is actually making large enough quantities. I can't see him making large enough quantities because he's got no fucking money, number one. If you were actively making, on a scale, making this stuff, other than just to keep yourself and your significant other high all the time, that's probably what it is. It's offsetting his own cost, because the rest of his life is falling apart around him. It's not like he's making money selling it in that sense. He might go and do a couple batches. It takes, from start to finish, him probably about 12 to maybe 12 hours, 8 hours, 6 if you get it down really well. And it's only going to be for like, what? Let's say 6 to 10 grams at a run. Anything more, you're talking a larger setup. But maybe they did have a larger setup, and that's what they had to get rid of between 12 and 5 a.m. That could possibly be. And would fall in line for the, the reason to be running around and preparing. It probably wasn't as intentional. See, I don't know. It's a possibility. I'll keep it on the table. I'm still coming to terms with it. Both of them, like, it's not necessarily that I believe, or you should believe, that they both died the same way at the same time. That's what has me where my thought process is, or where I like to sit and wonder. Oops, I lost my place. Mama Angie, who are you talking about, Tammy? It's weird that a certain channel has basically gone silent lately. I got to catch up to chat here. I'll go the other way. He's normalizing what happened and was done to them. Lily's scream was what they think caused it. And that's why it was worth mentioning at that sense, because it's still on their mind. And really, they're telling you, in this sense, if it was... I get where you're coming from, Mike. Yeah, it's a strong possibility. But I don't even want to say but. I'm not going to say but there. I don't have a better explanation. And in my mind, it's not necessary. to know the key detail. It would be nice at this point in time. Wonder what their plan is to get at Malaya, to start talking about Malaya. It makes a lot more sense now looking back about how Dan was signaling Malaya. You know, it wasn't coded. You know how people are talking about it being coded messages back and forth as though there's a big conspiracy? I think what you're more likely seeing is a form of the power control and the coercive nature of Daniel in that sense, in sending Malaya a message. Otherwise, sending her a signal about places, otherwise to follow up, but, you know, in not so many words, to shut the hell up, to maintain radio silence in that sense, to stick to your story. So I'm not sure if that actually happened, Tammy, about her losing the benefits, because it would have been something. See, this is I'm confused about. We're not completely clear about it. It has to. It was running out on April 30th was their date that their benefits ran out from. So they knew up to that point, and supposedly it all had to do with Daniel not filing his taxes, because probably he didn't want to go and, you know, deal with the repercussions from the Canada Revenue Agency about the $34,000 Wade says that he was defrauding them out of tax benefits and the baby bonus every month by not just, you know, a month that you can repay back on your taxes. That's where they're going to really want to engage with you and sort things out. So that's probably the reason maybe why he didn't file his taxes, I'm thinking, other than the effects, the physiological effects of the substances he was on, and his, you know, combined with him just being preoccupied and not living up to what would be considered the things an adult should be doing, you know, keeping up with. Oh, thanks, Miss K. That's a little too general of a search, though. You might have to go to 4chan for that one. Can a bus... What are you saying there, Tammy? Hold on there. You don't think Janie wanted to talk? I think Daniel told her she has to in order to align with the story, so it doesn't get caught, in your opinion? That abruptly, Brandy? You're probably not wrong. Like, I mean, that probably goes without saying. Like, there's a sense of urgency here. And the urgency would be all of their freedoms. And that would fall in line with why they really blame everything on Malaya at every opportunity. Maybe they wouldn't have called the RCMP if Malaya hadn't instinctively called and reported her kids missing. I'm not sure if so much. I think they probably had that in the plans to begin with out of sheer desperation and panic in the moment. You guys really fucked up. I can't see it being something like, listen, even if they absorbed something, it wouldn't be necessarily an instant thing. They might not even know what had happened, and the kids walking around not acting right, not feeling right. How could you not call an ambulance when you panic? Why, in this panic, did you not call an ambulance if that's true? And chose to then take the opportunity and murder 2 children. That's quite a jump. Or 1 child out of the 2. It's not like I'm not trying to dismiss anything. I'm just trying to figure it out. Like, Malaya is not in charge of any of this in this sense. When it comes to what happened, it's obvious that Daniel and Janie have an established narrative that they need to keep reinforcing with the public in order to condition them into believing it. Then they're willing to field all sorts of ridiculous distortions when it comes to their own false narrative about the case, because it's all the information that they came out with, right? They don't want to talk about any of the other elephants in the room, so to speak. And that's where the real questions come in. Because no matter what you say in the moment, a fool would have to be attached to that Daniel. The fact that you guys don't want to really talk about the scenario is a tell. Doesn't matter how many people you got in that group, how many people leave messages underneath these silly posts. You want to hear another one at Cali? They love to hate Cali in this. Oh, Cali, you just keep going on and on and on and on. If Janie was so evil, why would she give up her home? Hey, Megan, she's answered her own question. This Megan Curly. Hey, Curly. Hey, Curly. Janie already told us the reasons, honey baby, why she moved out of that particular trailer. They moved back because they didn't have anywhere else to go. Family crises. And it doesn't have anything to do with anything in that regards. If you haven't listened to Janie and the way that she talks about the kids, you can feel the anger and the hate that comes off her towards Malaya. You would be an imbecile not even to acknowledge it. And the fact that you're up here stating this tells us, oh boy, exactly the type of scumbag bish you is. She was living in the RV to give the children a home. Oh, what a fucking angel. What an angel. Not. Come on now. You were not in the chat to hear the emotion she had. Listen to how stupid that sounds. Hey, stupid. We have a video recording of all of her chats. We didn't need to be in the chat. We can listen to it 20 times and still get the same lack of emotion, I think you're noting. She didn't have any emotion. She had her face stuffed with probably a butter tart. Could you believe how just blatantly dumb this statement is? We're talking about Janie's statements. You know, all of the nonsense, the 2.5 hours that we put ourselves through. Apparently she's saying that you have had to actually be there to have got the fact that she was saying things. I guess each and every time that you listen to something, you become desensitized to something, perhaps. Maybe she's coming from a different way. I don't think so, though. I think she's just plain stupid. But in general, what is this but? But in general, what is this but? Charity, what is this but here? Do we even have to tell you what that means? Exactly. She knows everything that she's saying is bullshit up to that point. Where'd that but go? But in general. But in general. Holy shit. Holy shit. But in general. Oh, thanks for clarifying things. Thanks for being so specific. Thanks for adding something to this conversation. But she's straight up telling you she's going to bring things back into generalities just to fucking top things off. That's almost like a Three Stooges tactic, Curly. Holy shit, that's funny. I don't know whether to laugh or cry. That's so good. Oh, Cali. I almost got a fucking screenshot. This is how rich it is. Hold on, let me take a screenshot so I can refer back to it at a later time. Oh, I'm going to circle this. I'm going to have to post that because fuck, that made me laugh. Anyway. Obviously a person who... You're obviously not a person who reads a lot. Let's see. I'm not saying that doesn't mean anything. But in general, she gave them a home. You were not in the chat to hear the emotion she had. You had to be in the chat to hear the emotion she had? What's the difference between being in the chat and listening to it, again, like watching the video again or listening to the clip again? Huh. Yes, she said that sometimes Lily's screams was annoying. It was pretty high-pitched. Yes, she worries about her dog. But you can't convince me that she didn't care about those children. Oh, fuck. She's probably... Maybe this woman's a ward of the crown. She doesn't know the difference. You cannot convince me otherwise. Maybe an accident did happen. I have no idea. None of us know what actually happened. Rather, they were hurt. An accident happened, or they were given away. But I can't fathom her hurting those children in any way, shape, or form. No, I'm not a flying monkey. But you sure as... Well, why are you acting like one? But you sure as heck are one of Mike's. You think that they are in California? Still can't figure that one out. Listen to the amount of gaslighting up here, eh? That's the first time I'm here to California. Cali, you think they're in California? Exactly. No. Listen to the spam. Like, why would they be there? I don't know. Why would you bring it up? Pipeline boys? Never heard that phrase. All kinds of people, ATV out there. It's not private Pipeline Boys Club, LOL. Anyway, have a good day. I should add, in my opinion, because I'll gladly own up if I'm wrong. You'll gladly own up. You would never recognize being wrong. Fuck, think about how fucking wrong she is. Can you believe this, bitch? That's disgusting. Holy, I feel dirty just reading it. Holy mackerel. Talk about making absolutely no sense, no points. It's not even accurate. Never ever once heard any of that brought up on mics, and I watch everything. Listen, look at what they're doing. It's a desperate attempt, okay? Feeble, desperate attempt to make it look like for people who are new or trying to get to know something about the case. That's completely gone out the window with these statements, by the way. You're trying to obscure the process. Yeah, you feel dirty just listening? Holy Hannah. Oh, man. Want to hear what Rhonda Martin has to say? Well, Cali Gibson says, hey, Curly, calm down, Megan. Where are you from? Do you live there in Lansdowne Station? That California name that you saw on the map is not the state of California. So, hey, Curly, what do you think happened? Do I see new Janie comments? Not yet. Are there new Janie comments? Let me see. Rhonda Martin. Wow. Do you have facts, Cali Gibson? I don't believe Daniel Martel. These people don't even believe in school or in education either, by the way. I don't believe Daniel Martel has nothing to do with their disappearance. I don't believe Daniel Martel has nothing to do with this disappearance. Fuck me. I don't believe... That's a double negative, bro. Can you fucking believe the level... Oh, fuck. I can't even believe I put myself in a situation like this to sound like an asshole towards two people. You're making me say bad things about you girls. Why is it I can't just ignore? They are that dumb, Mike. It's comedic to the degree of how stupid they are. I don't believe Daniel Martel has nothing to do with their disappearance. Well, neither do we then. Rhonda, we're in agreement. Yeah, Daniel's guilty. That's what you're saying. If that was actually allowed in English, you're not even allowed disregard. That's a double negative. You coming at me with some grade 6 shit. But someone on or off the property does. Does what? If you think you know all the facts, RCMP is hiring. No one knows. All speculation, no proof, nothing. Hey, isn't it fucking interesting how all of these people who are so keen to want to find out what happened to Jackie and Lily totally want to disregard any sort of rational explanation? Like, Mike can't put it any more simply and bluntly in when it comes to, he does a good job when it comes to statement analysis. Like, so good, there's no room for fucking error. There's no possibility in that sense that you could ever say the things that you're saying in this chat about Mike. You could say them pretty much about anybody else. Like, if it was Justin, you could have your opinion about Justin because of what he does and what he brings. It's not that you actually took something that he said and tried to disprove it. You're just blindly going in there trying to gaslight people into believing you have some sort of really heavily prejudiced, biased towards what is so intended to be beneficial to the case and bring a resolution. You just don't like the reality of the fact of the guy that you're begging for attention from, like this fucking tweaker Daniel is around there reading all of this. You want to have some of that smoke. You want to have some of that attention. Why? Probably because you're a tweaker too and you want some of his fucking product. It's good for his business if he was still able to cook. Something tells me he's not doing that in the moment. It's something hopefully in the past. Lily, God bless you, darling. I can't believe I just read that. I'm sorry, people. Fuck, I got all worked up. I can't even respond to that. That's how silly that is. Do you know what a double negative is? Actually, what is a double negative? What is a double negative? Maybe have Google or Grok explain this to you, honey. I'm going to leave her 2 exclamation points just like Daniel. Look at that. There's what we contributed to that bitch tonight. Holy fucking, guess what's even better about that? I just made money. I just made money shitting all over you. That makes me feel even better and more productive. Thank you very much, Lily. It's generous of you. I appreciate that. Oh yeah, they come in all the time. Do you know what? Hey, Daniel, maybe we should tell you right now, bro. Listen, this little trick about you having your buddies call in sightings is actually a thing that happens all the time, even in this own community. Not just this one in my live chat today. Do you remember when, who's that chick that Purple Phoenix always beefs with in the Summer Wells case? She was the call that interrupted Candace on Dr. Phil with that fake sighting of Summer Wells. You remember those? Those are really often Jenna. Yeah, it's Jenna. Yeah, she's a fucking dirty player. Hey, Daniel, you want to go hook up with somebody dirty? Go look at Jenna. She'll do your bidding. She'll call in a few times. She calls in the fake sighting of Summer Wells back then. So that's one I can think of. And there's probably more that aren't exactly public because it's a thing. Anything to capture the narrative, anything to make a little headline. But people are getting less and less creative. Cracks, Jake. Where's this dumb conversation from? Facebook? Listen, you're saying I don't entertain this bullshit response from people who clearly haven't followed the indications from Daniel and Janie since J&L went missing. Oh, absolutely. I'm showing you, man. I'm not asking you to go up there and become a member. There's a real problem up there. But it's under a Mike Demand post. This is a conversation under Mike Demand's post about. Actually, we didn't even get into much about what Logan McKenzie actually knows, which is fairly funny because it's really nothing. And Logan is up there under there insinuating that Mike is all on about how much Logan knows in this circumstance and is protecting, completely overlooking the relevance of the question in the first place. We're just curious to know what it is that you know. You could talk all about the Baltimore Orioles. You could talk all about, crab. You could talk about anything. Why is it that you're so upset and, so sensitive that you've got to be all up in the comments about this? Well, she's reactionary. The answer is because there's a video out there with your name on it. And you want to gaslight everybody in the group and risk making yourself look that suspicious, even, that much more suspicious, but less intelligent and desperate. And you're exposing yourself to a greater amount of people in that sense about how desperate and how protective you are of the things that Janie and Daniel have told you, because you believe everything that they tell you. Well, I'm here to tell you that there's nobody out here in reality that would ever consider taking anything that these people have to say as a true word. They have everything and every reason to hide. You, honey, are extremely stupid and foolish. But that's typical. And you're using Logan's fake account as a thumbnail? Yeah. Associating the two. Yeah, she's mad about being exposed. She's actively in the background manipulating in that sense. Like, in a way that's far beyond any sort of rando could do, because she's associated essentially with the case because she insists on being there. Placing herself there, not to mention abetting in the cover-up. Accessory after the fact. And we can rack on a whole lot more when we figure out more about what happened to Jack and Lily. They've got absolutely nothing to say about Jack and Lily. Nothing to say. And that tells you everything. These two kids were last seen and disappeared from your house. Your lot, your land right there. And you don't want to speak about it. You don't want to talk about it. But when you do, you want to talk about it in a way that misrepresents what you really are to these kids in their real lives in order to get away with something in that particular moment. They've done that step by step, every step of the way. Interacting with, don't even want to go there yet. I'm not even going to talk about the RCMP and the reasons and the possibilities and the fears of why they treat things a certain way, and the investigators are only investigating certain things. These motherfuckers aren't in handcuffs. There's a problem. And that should be the title on every U.S. publication that comes out speaking about this Jack and Lily situation. Hopefully that's going to happen in time, because this is a no-brainer. So there's some light at the end of the tunnel. Magdalena, what a lovely name. Magdalena Marsland. Magdalena. Oh, that's a nice name. Logan exposed herself. She was making up stories because a family spokesman. She's a family spokesperson. And now she wonders why people are asking questions. She brought it on herself. Well, exactly. Logan, you don't expect people to ask you questions at any one point in time about the things that you say or have even misspoke. You guys treat everything as though people, you're not in the know and you're not going to be in the know. You're protecting your little kin there in a circumstance like this without really touching base. Which would be expected. Only to a degree, though, because it's so obvious in the circumstance, Logan. You don't even know when to shut up. You don't even know to take your exit, to know when you were being used. You just don't mind being used. You're like, oh fuck, I'm all for it. Here, let me put my name in your phone, Malaya. Hey, yep. I can take your kid, babe. I can take your kid. No problem. Just who you want to give it to. What is this, 1001 Dalmatians? Who's that Explore car? I see what you're saying. Cali G. I'm not familiar with this Jack Behar. Excuse me. Is this the group that they no longer allowed others into because Janie was uncomfortable? Is this the group that Janie answers questions for? Thanks. Oh yeah, she doesn't like Sonny or Dolly anymore, which is understandable. But it's funny that she wants to tell you who she endorses and who she doesn't, how important she thinks that she is. I'm just giving all of these people my time. Listen, you got your priorities all mixed up, honey. Daniel, what's it feel like to be hated so much by the world? Esther wants to know, way over there in France. Good to see you. Cracks Jacks, Janie went into hiding for weeks, then the children went missing. Now she's over defending her son and herself. Leveling the ground for a pool. How's that coming, by the way? Now it's the fall. It's still no pool. Oh, well, no. You don't expect that your grandkids are going to come back? Well, this pool was only for Jack and Lily? So thoughtful of you, by the way, you old bag. Yes, what a joke that is. Cooper, they last for a month, I believe. It's a promotional thing that YouTube does. I need to unblock Logan and let her run her mouth, Cali G. What you need is you need your own little Jack and Lily account on Facebook. Why don't you get in there with a secondary account called Jack and Lily 2? And then you can have a Jack and Lily 1 against Jack and Lily 2 argument up in there. All with, under your sock accounts. Mike says, I agree. She is dumb, but they consider her the smart one in the family. That's why she's the spokesman. Oh. Any spokesman usually can do in the moment when you need them, though, can't they? Even better if they can barely speak English. That even better when you're trying to hide something. Hell, you want to talk too? Go right ahead. Logan is probably the one that ever left their little community, so they'll all think she's worldly. I don't know about that. She just watches too much TV, probably. Derwood is unblocked as of this afternoon, Callie. That's good to know. That idiot. You're allowed to see he doesn't. Does that mean he doesn't see your messages? Oh, heck. Black Widow, that is the uncensored. This is the uncensored group. Facebook Uncensored, so if you're looking for it up there, just the keyword is uncensored. But that's very bizarre. It's completely contrary to the name with Daniel and Logan under there, just, unfiltered. Not even sounding all of that smart. You guys are really suffering. Holy mackerel. Magdalene says none of them come on to speak about Lily and Jack. None of them. Nothing positive, nothing nice to say. No positive memories. It's really sad. Right up until this even point in time, they still put blame back onto Malaya. That's a thing. That's what they do now. How is it you can put blame back onto one and not consume some of that yourself, not understand that you're implicating yourself in all of this neglect and abuse that was going on? Derwood made some horrible comment in Ninchies today. What an ass. John Bonham, good. That'll give her something to talk about. She needed something new to talk about. Derwood's weird, dude. He's in the background. Maybe he's the hired muscle. What a freak. You have to send Tint down there to give you a smack and scare you like he did Earl. Oh, fuck. He made some horrible comments to Ninchi. What did he say, Jonah? Oh, he sends some of that funny stuff. He was threatening things in the background to Mike DeMann. I remember reading that, talking about some crazy TikToker, like as though he had something to do with somebody else. You've got to make her stop saying these things about us. Why are you so sensitive about random strangers saying negative things and conversing negatively about you? And by the way, you're right there every single time under anything to argue, to combat, as though you really feel that you know. You're really, really disgusting. These individuals that love to consume all of the nonsense that they come forward with. Oh, yeah, they're just so innocent in the circumstance. Hey, fuckface. These two kids just went missing. This was the last spot they were. Most of the time, most of the people who love to talk all about it have no ability to conceive or really actually know about the world in that sense and the evils that occur out there enough to talk about them and how unlikely they are in this particular circumstance. Kids just don't magically disappear, especially from a bunch of people who are nonstop lying and being inconsistent about everything. You're what they call protecting the reality, protecting the truth. And that's what you find just so fantastic about it all, because you want to keep yourself just ahead of the game in a public place and steer the narrative and the build your narrative because you need to. You guys really fucked up. It took over 12 months for them to take down Trezell and Jacqueline in that sense. And it was so fucking bizarre to me at the same time. So I'm holding out a little bit of hope, knowing full well just how desperate they are and how bad their stories are. That it's just a matter of time before they come for them at night. Yeah, that's going to be a great day, Brian Sutherland. You don't need to go through these circumstances time and time and time and time and time again to overuse a word like seems to be popular up there in this. I picked something up from Logan. Time and time and time and time and time and time and time again. Did it twice. So much so I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind. I got sidetracked. If there was genuine concern for Jack and Lily, they would have shown a lot more distress and concern from the outside. Oh, absolutely. A lot of this stuff, they spend most of their time trying to convince people at any one time why something that doesn't make sense makes sense. Or they just, on the other turn, they'll just agree at that point in time and say, oh, yeah, it's just so mysterious. Can't figure it out. Well, unfortunately, there's a big difference between a person who wasn't there and knows nothing about the case and the suspects. All right, and that's what is coming out of the suspect's mouth. Wanting to blend in with you. Yeah, that's so mysterious, isn't it? I can't figure it out. You're the one who has all of the answers, who doesn't want to share any of them. You really haven't come out to speak about much, Daniel, in that sense. Nobody's even asking. Nobody's thinking that you should. But it's the question, or it's the statements that you made all along the way is what people really have questions about. It's not coming out of left field. It's not, what do you call, flowing in. There's accusations out there because of your behavior, your statements, combined with the fact that Jack and Lily were last seen at your house. No matter what, you cannot be innocent in anything in this. The family's priority since the get-go was trying to make themselves look innocent at any one point in time, never, ever disregarding the fact that things look sketchy as fuck, but they had the opportunity to blame it all on Malaya and take advantage of the fact that people in the moment are so eager for information, including the police and the search party. Lindsay, Shan, and Janie originally answered the questions in a fundraiser group on Facebook. It was never meant to go that way. Belinda was there, so was a friend of Malaya's. It was supposed to be unbiased. That's impossible in a situation like this. Why the need? Just because a bunch of randos out here demand that you come out and say something doesn't really mean a whole lot. You had to say things because, one, you're the alibi. Daniel pressured you into it. Or do you guys think that Janie has more to do with it in that sense? At this point in the game, she is neck deep into it. No one needs to spend a second listening or respond. Ding to Deepwood. Especially Ninchi. Darren Geddes, you're such a tool, bro. What a lulz cow that guy is. There's no way that you would ever trust Janie in any situation, let alone somebody who would fucking go and bang and date Janie. Even less credible, in my opinion. You think Janie's crazy? You should see the fucking guy that's dating her. This Derwood. He's a real ladies' man. He's got, oh yeah. Lance Romance. That's right. That's right, Miss K. Jack and Lily are the victims. Yeah, Cracker Jake. About the phones being left at home. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's convenient, especially when you're needing to communicate with other people and eagerly trying to track down your missing kids. You think communication would be a priority? It is for the U.S. military. I wonder why I wouldn't be in an emergency situation like this. Don't need my phone. Nope. As I'm searching. Ninchi's video is mostly about bringing in good groups like Texas Equisearch to find the kids. Carla, yeah, but that's... bringing in a secondary investigation isn't really practical at this at this stretch. The RCMP need to do their goddamn jobs. All right? People wanted to spend more time doing things that actually mattered and putting pressure through traditional ways, through the media, through calling members of parliament, through spamming. If you want to call somebody and get mad at them, call the local MPP or the local MP and demand some goddamn action in this circumstance. Put pressure on them the right way as opposed to wanting to bring in some magical group of individuals that are going to tell us what we already know. Ray Charles sees this. He understands who the guilty parties are. Yeah, baby. You wouldn't trust Janie with the goldfish, Christian? Explore Core, the original fundraiser fell apart. Well, wait till you hear the one that Kent's coming up with. There's a new fundraiser in town. Go fuck your fundraisers. That's so unnecessary. Keep me as far away from it as possible. I'll report on all of the drama. Absolutely unnecessary, and it's a virtue signal that sends a bad message, and you end up putting a positive spin on what is absolutely child murder in this circumstance. You're not bringing anything to the table. You're not helping Jack and Lily in this circumstance, as they like to throw out there. Absolutely scrutinizing the suspects and the last people to be seen with them is always a wise move. And it always pans out. And when the story that they give you is questionable at best, then there's bigger problems, and that's what's going on here. The sheer need to be so deceptive on so many fronts doesn't tell you that they're hiding all kinds of things about their private life. Well, one main thing, they're hiding guilty knowledge of the circumstance. And it's for the same reason that it's always... Why? It's never a different reason. It's always the same reason. Self-preservation, their freedom. The fact that they're not willing to check out of life in this circumstance, and they're prioritizing their own well-being over that of Jack and Lily, actually on the back of Jack and Lily, because they are murdering and getting away with it. Legally. Which is unfathomable. Is Derwood still lurching about? Oh, he's here and there and everywhere. Now he's coming out. He's got all of these things to say. He's a trip, man. He's weird. So is his son Jordan, but they might be tools. Who knows how much they know about this circumstance. The fact that they're so eager to cozy up to people, maybe they help them out. Maybe they help them dispose. Maybe they help them cover up. At this point in time, they're here just to sidetrack us, and we've already been through it, haven't we, Carla? Derwood's just a fool. He's a lying fool, which is even worse. Yeah, Lily, that's the OJ. Daniel is already making OJ-like statements. Daniel saying he will search for them for the rest of his life, is doing squat to find them. All he's doing is going from live to live to push his lying narrative. Oh, yeah. Block his punk ass when he comes in here. He's such a fucking idiot. Unbelievable. Magdalena, you have to send me an email at stepbystepexploringvideos@gmail.com. I don't really respond to any messages on Facebook. I don't have Messenger or anything like that. That shit's for fools. Fuck Facebook. I do my best to stay away from it. The only reason I have it is for AB Live. And to come up here and put people on blast. For content in that sense. But no, I don't answer messages on Facebook. You have to send me an email. Such a priss. Yeah, the RCMP is not saying everything in that sense. Absolutely, Brian. You expect us to think, oh, I'll save that till next live. This is getting 2 hours and 13 minutes. It's getting too long. Hopefully Mike Demand goes live tonight. If he is, go over there. He's been going later. He's been going on later at night, so he might be 10 Eastern before he's on. I'm not sure. He's like 6-7 hours ahead, which was weird. He's up in the middle of the night talking about things. A different crowd. It's a different crowd at night than it is during the day. Patriot, yeah, you believe Logan knows something or has knowledge? She calls the kids wild animals. Yeah, where did she refer to them like that? Do you remember? Kent got the money that was raised to add to the upcoming silent auction and donate to search and rescue after. That's where I left off. Is that right, Lindsay? Oh, Kent, you're such a fucking hero. You're a loser, dude. What an asshole. That guy You stay away from this chat, Kent. Let's see. Friends, I'm going to wrap this up at 2 hours, 13 minutes. Stay tuned. We're going to come back and keep up tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon with the Deuce. We'll shoot the shit, see what else goes on. If Mike Demand is going live, get your arses over there and keep an eye out for Ninchi's newest upload. I appreciate you guys stopping by tonight, talking a little bit about Jack and Lily, venting some things. It's a lot better than a lot of the other crap that's going on and around out there right now. But I got to get some, before it gets too late, we got to get some evening snacks on the go here. We had a nap a little earlier. So friends, I will be back tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon, so stay tuned. Till then, peace.